Here. Guerrero.
Here.
Hilbert.
Here.
Leeper. Here. Stahl.
Here.
Wood.
And Mrs. Summer, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Have a visitor this evening. Somebody would like to start?
Yes, Benjamin Doty is here to propose the possibility of starting an esports team at Sangamon Valley High School.
Okay. Go ahead.
All right, so my name is Benjamin Doty, and I am a sophomore here at this school. So at my other school I used to go to, Merle Forsyth, they have an esports team, and I believe they have been increasing in other schools too. And I was on that team for about 2 years. And there's one thing I noticed: esports can help people learn and grow as a human, as an individual human being. And so I want to help. I want to help bring an esports team here. It can provide an extracurricular activity to those who are not interested in traditional sports such as basketball and football. It can help promote teamwork with other people and develop friendships, and it can also help lead into other technological careers such as STEM, coding, and other computer sciences.
Okay. And what would that, I guess, entail as far as, is there a season for it? Does it go all year long, or?
There can be a season. I believe there is a season. I think it's in the spring. I think from January till maybe the end of the year.
Yeah, so Mr. Fleming and I looked into it for IHSA, and that's the main time that they would be competing. It would just depend on what categories they would compete in. There's a multitude of areas like Mario Kart, Rocket League, and there's a separate league from IHSA that the kids can compete in. That one does cost money, but IHSA does not. And it would just depend, once the team's formulated, what they would want to compete in as individuals or a team. But that's the main time that they would compete.
So for us, what is our needed from the school itself, I guess?
Well, we talked to be facility usage and Wi-Fi. So we're gonna work together on fundraising, getting hopefully funds to raise to get the consoles and everything that the kids need. We've worked a little bit on student services. We have opportunities to fundraise to get the money for the 2 Nintendo Switches that they'd like to start with, which would put us about $1,000. And once that hooks up to the Wi-Fi, they can pretty much start from there and then hopefully continue to grow. So not in terms of financial, none, besides facility usage and Wi-Fi at this time.
And then does all that take place at school, as far as what they're signing in to do and that type of thing?
Yes, yep, yeah. It'd be after hours for extracurricular time, whatever would work for the team, maybe like 3 to 5, depending on what sponsor room it would be. Sponsors would be determined each year, volunteer basis. So we sort of talked, there's a couple of people on staff and myself that would sort of rotate if need be basis to fill in here and there to make it work for the first year. We have about 25 kids that are interested in the team. With the survey we sent out, and there's 2 that actually coach it currently. So Braden Wicker coaches esports with the younger siblings, sort of on a volunteer basis at other schools. So he's really interested in it. So there's a couple people that would like to step up and try and lead it.
So for this year, there'd be no sponsorship, like stipend or anything?
No, we wouldn't be doing anything like that, no.
Okay. Well, I think it sounds interesting, and we will take it into consideration later in the meeting, okay?
All right.
Thank you,
for coming
Benjamin.
in.
Thank you so much for listening.
Okay, thank you.
Good job, Ben. Thank you.
Okay, is there anyone else that's here to address the board this evening?
Thank you.
No? Okay, so then we need a motion to enter closed session for discussion of personnel and student discipline this evening.
So much.
I'm gonna go with second, call roll please.
Campbell.
Yes.
Guerrero.
Yes.
Silver.
Yes.
Leeper. Yes. Stahl.
Yes.
Browning.
Yes.
605.
Combination of our assessment scores and most importantly, our chronic absenteeism with our IEP students. We have since risen back to the commendable status there within that building, and we are working through their Title I, Part 1003, I think, program that we have to do to try to reach that compliance. So it's given the state an opportunity to kick us a little bit more money to try to help out with some things. But we saw some really good improvements and stuff from what they did. Met with the state superintendent a couple weeks ago along with the other local superintendents, and he basically came in and told us that they're completely revamping all this. So the cut scores changed for this year on all the assessments, including like ACT and stuff like that. So it's not going to match up exactly with what we had before. And then they're going to change it further, but they're also going to get rid of chronic absenteeism, which is what we got named on. They're going to get rid of the way that they say some other things and change some of their metrics. So really everything that we're using now is going to probably flip. And that's what they do about every 2 or 3 years, is they change the targets and change the bullseye and everything to where, it's like we don't really have any longitudinal way to track what you've been doing. So I think we've shown some vast improvements, and we're going to continue doing that. But it was nice to see the commendable ratings come through there and take a look at that. Racino update. The Racino, if you saw in the paper, has passed the Senate, and it will move on to the House. The House took an early recess after that passed the Senate, so I never had a chance to get over there. I spoke to Mr. Flynn. He actually called me back today, and I discussed, and he said that he thinks that in January that will come in front of the House. I think we were saying this last year about December. So we'll see what happens with it. They have invited me. I don't know if you guys got anything. I got an RSVP invitation to the Country Club in Decatur in a couple weeks for about an hour and a half informational meeting
On the Racino?
about the Racino. It came from the Economic Development Commission of Macon County. So I'm going to go and see what it's all about. I'll report back on what I find there. I think the
We
developers
did
are
not
actually
invite
looking
you, in
good.
case anybody wasn't.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
know. So it came to me, so I will go represent Sangamon Valley and see what they've got to say at that meeting. And that was basically the only update I got from Mr. Flynn on that today, other than what I read in the paper. So that was basically, he just kind of reiterated that information to me, but it did overwhelmingly pass the Senate. There were very few that voted against it. Bus facility update. We've had to change the design that we were kind of looking at after the engineers got looking at things out there with the facility. So long story short, basically, it's going to be the same amount of building, but we weren't able to do the longer bus shelter to plug all the buses in on the one side, because then that blocks off the lane to get in. A bus would be sticking out of it. So what we're going to do is basically cut that structure in half and put half of it over by the garage, kind of where the old lean-to is at. But in order to do all that too, we're gonna have to expand the parking lot with some rock, probably about 10 to 15 feet to the north. There's plenty of room there before you get to the practice field ditch, where it is kind of our natural drain out to the field there. So I don't think it'll be a big deal from the way the designer was talking when he came out. But they've been kind of at a standstill. We're waiting to hear back from the engineers, and then the engineers have to talk to the builders, and then we kind of move on from there. But it's been slow moving, to say the least. We're just hoping to at least get a little bit more push. The Sturryville people were working on designs, so we still haven't seen those final designs yet. They've been getting going, but he did not expect there to be a tremendous change in cost by splitting the building like that. It's just going to be in a different area, different build. So that's kind of where we're at on that.
So,
What are the winter plans?
there, and he's kind of got those going on to the front, basically where the lean-to is at. And he's got the brace and back into the gravel so that they don't, get pulled out of there, or a bus forgets to unplug or something like that, which has been known to happen occasionally.
So will we go the whole winter without anything?
I don't know. I would have liked to have had something built by now, but it's been a lot slower than we processed when we get it done and done right. The survey with the engineers has taken quite a while, and now that we've kind of redone the design, they're supposed to get back. So we had emails going out to them earlier this week to see if they can get back to us on the changes in design. And then we'll kind of go from there. But, that's what I got there. Collective bargaining with the teachers. We have set dates for March 9th through 11th, and that will be at Sharon United Methodist Church. Mrs. Weaver was able to procure that for us since we will not be doing it during the summertime when there's no kids here. We thought that may be a little more conducive for the bargaining teams instead of trying to do it within the buildings while we got school going on. So we've got that coming up. We've got the attorney and the USERV director all lined up to be here with us for those days. And I think it'll also help us to get it done earlier, because it'll be a lot easier on us in the unit office to get the contracts ready and everything like that before everybody leaves for the summer. So that'll be good. Ag department with their welding lab proposal plans that they've had, got some exciting news since our last meeting. They have fully funded basically what they are projecting as their costs for the welding lab redux that they're wanting to do. And part of that has come from the village of Harristown. And part of that came from the ADM CARES grant that we applied for. We were able to procure that, and the village of Harristown made up the difference. I have started talking to our architects, because we are going to also be looking at doing our 10-year health life safety survey, which will be actually during spring break, I guess, when they're coming in. They're going to walk around with me for a few days. But also I talked to them about maybe coming up with some designs and making sure that we get the electrical and everything just right in there. It's going to be very important to make sure. And they also mentioned that may be something as well that we could utilize some of our health life safety funds for, that we're not able to touch until those 10-year things. They said, do you think there's some safety concerns with any of that? I said, it's an old building, and I'm not sure how the electric was wired up over there exactly, so any improvement would probably be a plus. And so they said they thought that sounded like a good plan, and they would pay close attention to that, maybe even before we get the health life safety stuff going on, so they kind of get a lay of the land. But I think it'll be really cool once they get it done, and really good for our students.
Can we utilize that for our high school gym and locker rooms?
The health life safety, I don't know. Depends on
It's gotta be a safety hazard
what
somewhere.
we see as a safety, so could be. We've got no shortage of things to spend it on for sure. And that's all I've got for the superintendent's report right now.
So we'll go into new business.
First up, we've got the yearly resolution that we need to do for the estimated tax levy for 2026. I recommend you vote on this. So I'm projecting another balloon this year. I want to do a balloon so that we are able to capture all of the money that is due to us. So I did a kind of a high balloon this year. We had done, I think, previously 12% last year when we did. I was going to try to go with a 20% balloon this year, just because of my uncertainty with what's going on. I don't think that we're going to see anywhere near that kind of an increase, but I also don't want to leave any money on the table. So when you see that in the paper, especially constituents that are here tonight, don't freak out. Your taxes hopefully won't raise 20%, but that will be us. The tax rate actually that I've set for this should be actually a couple cents less because of how the bonds came out this time around. But other than that, the total rate should be exactly the same as last year. If the Racino and Harristown comes out later on down the line and some other things happen, that's where you may start seeing some major increases in the EAV. But even then, it's going to be quite a few years down the road, I think, before everything gets finalized. I think they were talking about a solar farm potentially in Leopolis too. I don't think that will roll until it goes online. The estimated reports do think that I have got Christian County squared away, though. She has found her error level. It only cost us about $700 last year. But there's no getting that back. But moving forward, we'll at least be able to make sure that she is looking at TIF calculated correctly out of the county when it comes to Christian. So we have that. We need to also look at setting a date for the truth and taxation hearing, which will be next. If you guys want to go ahead and do, or have any questions about the estimated levy?
So we need a motion to adopt a resolution regarding the estimated amounts for the tentative district tax levy for 2025 payable in 2026 as presented. Motion made by Judge Stahl, I'll second. Call roll, please.
Guerrero.
Yes.
Gilbert.
Yes.
Leeper. Yes. Stahl.
Yes.
Browning. Yes. Campbell. Yes.
Okay, and since we are doing the balloon levy and we're anticipating more than 5% increase to the EAV, we need to also set a hearing for the truth and taxation as part of the regular board meeting on the next meeting, December 17th.
Okay. Do I have a motion to set that December 17th, 6 p.m.? Motion made by Josh Helbert, is there a second?
Second.
Lori Campbell, call roll, please.
Gilbert.
Yes.
Leeper. Yes. Stahl.
Yes.
Browning.
Yes.
Campbell. Yes. Guerrero.
Yes.
The next motion we have is to approve the resolution to abate taxes on bond 2019B. This is our yearly action that we do to abate that bond and pay that out of Fund 60. I recommend that you proceed with that.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Jessica Browning, is there a second?
Second.
Josh Hilbert, call roll please.
Stahl.
Yes.
Browning. Yes. Campbell. Yes. Guerrero.
Yes.
Gilbert.
Yes.
Leeper. Yes.
Okay, so I've talked to you about community solar at a few different meetings. And the day after our last meeting, when we voted to accept the proposal for the 50% cost savings, I contacted Nadia first thing in the morning. We were getting things rolling, and then she called me back and said they gave our spot away. They had told us that we had until actually the day after that I actually called her to give them a for sure. And the company that she was working with gave it away to somebody else. So after I called a few different middlemen and gave them a piece of my mind, I really was just spinning my wheels by that point. So when I spoke to our person at Nadia again, we went back to the next AMP community solar, which is only a 15% savings. But on the upside, it is just a 3-year agreement, so if something different comes along, we find a better deal to come along, we're not hooked into it for 10 years, 20 years, whatever. I think that this is probably our best deal out there, and also gives us an opportunity to kind of dip our toe in the water and see how it all goes. I provided you with kind of a summary of what I've looked at with that. Out of all the agreements I've looked at, I think this is the best one that we have to offer. We did have the 20% one over X amount of years, but to be quite honest, I just do not trust that company or the person that was selling that to us. So I do trust this one. I think this is a reputable company. They've been around for a long time, and they are highly recommended. So I would recommend that you enter into the 3-year agreement for the community solar for a 15% cost savings.
The only thing that I wanted to point out is it appears that we're in it for 3 years.
Yes.
And then it's not till, well, 120 days before you have to say you want out and.
Or you have to renew the.
Right.
But you're in for 3 years no matter what.
Regardless.
You
Well,
can't.
you can get out, but there's penalties to get out.
Yeah.
So,
Where the other ones were telling us 90 or 180 maybe it was, that you could get out. But we also didn't see their terms, that's what they were telling us. I don't think we'd ever gotten to the term point. So we're in this for 3 years.
and there's
To
a
be
180-day
reviewed.
cancellation, I think, too.
I think they had the 180-day cancellation.
This is
but not
120.
us.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
This is
For
120.
120.
Yeah, so, and it's only at the end of the term. You have to cancel within 3 business days of signing
next up, you heard Benjamin's pitch, and if you have any other questions for Mrs. Birch, you can be able to answer those at this time. I think there will be minimal cost to the district, if any, maybe $200 if we decide to get in an esports league. I think that's well worth it to maybe give these kids a chance to see if this is something that will work for them.
Okay, any questions?
So, maybe I was a little unsure on, like, are we not forming a team at this point, like IHSA purposes?
Yeah, it would be a team, but they also have the option as the team to do different individual stuff per kid. So there's stuff they can do as a team, but they can also branch off and do individual competition through IHSA. So like we can't field all but 3 kids for 1 week. They can still play individually. So it just depends on the game, honestly. Yeah.
So, maybe then from my point of view, would we rely on them to fundraise for everything that's no different than any other activity or event that we have? I mean, if we're for it, I would say we need to get a list of what they need and provide. I mean, it's no different than.
I thought of that too. I thought if you're gonna start a sport, we would provide the equipment for anybody
Right.
else. But then I thought like chess team,
And
wasn't our hearts to do anything for that to get started? Or we just said, go with God.
So, I think we purchased some chessboards and different stuff as well. So,
I guess I saw the sheer number of the chess team too. Is that like feasible? Like, are they able to actually, you're not taking that many people to a chess tournament, right?
There were, yeah, we had this room and the cafeteria completely full when they were here last time. And then they had, the school backed out that was coming, so they only sent like 5 or 6, but they ended up doing like, inner stuff. But yeah, I mean, we had this and that coming almost completely full. So between middle school and high school.
And we just have Mr. Martin.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
they need 2 Nintendo
Yeah.
Switches. If they want to fundraise for one, we buy one, or we want to
I would just say
buy
what,
them.
what they need. I mean, there's a difference between need and
Want.
Yeah.
want.
I mean, I have an extra at home because I upgraded my husband's for Christmas, and I was just gonna let them borrow that, and if they were able to do one, but we had enough in our student activities too that we can get one good use that they were planning if they couldn't find the money for it. But I think there's enough community sport. They're like $400 and something brand new. They're not
There's
very.
that,
Yeah.
we have enough interest, I think we should spend the money.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Just do a not to exceed amount of
Yeah.
$1,000.
$1,000 and.
Okay. Yeah,
One of the
that
nice thing about what he's doing is kind of like with the chess team, when we started that, it's great to see kids that aren't athletic, that we are offering stuff like that, because they are kind of pushed to the side in some things like that we don't. Like it was a big deal, like during if you guys were at the Veterans Day thing, that art, the students made that beautiful mural, and it was a big deal, like, to announce them doing that. And Miss Christensen came up and she was like in tears, because she was just like, it was just so nice that her kids were recognized, like that, because some of them, they are athletic and they're kind of quiet,
I mean,
so.
David in my office was like a revolving door that day. We sent that survey out. We had a ton of kids asking questions, and
Mhm.
generally the kids that we don't normally have a conversation with were really,
Yeah.
seeing gung ho about it.
There's
So
actually a state tournament.
there is.
Yeah,
So we
that's
go.
why, I mean, if it's an
Yeah.
official IHSA deal, I'd say we.
Okay,
I'd say we,
then he needs to amend the motion,
I
right?
have it, I said that it's at a cost not to exceed $1,000.
I mean, are you intending on joining that IHSA?
Yeah.
Or- okay.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
I just added a cost not to exceed 1,000 to the end of it.
And transportation wouldn't cost anything. We would enter, I think the sectional for Bloomington normal was the closest one, and then we would just come in from our Wi-Fi. So we would just submit for that. So.
Now, when they went to state, they actually went to state, right?
I think so, yeah, and that's separate from, but yeah, like the regional sectional is the Bloomington, which would be the Normus for us, but yeah.
Is there still academic eligibility?
Yeah, the kids would still have to abide from it, but the ones that I have interest so far aren't in jeopardy of being in that situation, so, yeah.
So then we need a motion to approve the formation of a Sangamon Valley High School esports team at a cost not to exceed $1,000. Motion made by Jessica Browning, is there a second?
Second.
Josh Hilbert, call roll please.
Campbell,
Yes.
Guerrero,
Yes.
Hilbert,
Yes.
Leeper, yes, Stahl,
Yes.
Brown, yes.
Thank you, guys.
So we're
Yeah, thank
ready
you.
to, adjourn. We have a meeting, truth and taxation meeting, will be at the beginning of our meeting on December 17th at 6. Regular scheduled meeting will start at 6:05. I need a motion to adjourn. Motion made by Mr. Hilbert, is there a second? Second. Campbell, all in favor?